Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of JKL Media, where we are going through The Expanse. And today, Lou, hey Lou,
Hello, sparing no expense on the expanse.
yes,
Mm.
Karen,
Hello,
and
and loving Leviathans.
yes, and Jesse Jackson here. We're going to talk about the season one finale, and they are mocking me because I said it's Leviathan, and they said, no, it's Leviathan. Uh,
Absolutely not mocking you.
Yes, you should.
Maybe a little.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was a cliffhanger last week, and this week they came back, but I don't know if they resolved everything
no, it's
on
another
this.
cliffhanger.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is continuing to, I just think this show continues to be really dense. It's just a dense show in a good way.
yeah.
There's a lot of storytelling, there's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of moving parts that I enjoy totally. And this episode was another example of that. How about you, Lou? Some quick thoughts on this one.
Yeah, this definitely sets up the next season. I think it dropped a couple of bombs, mostly on the non-Tycho storylines. I think all the big bombs were on the UN scenes. Bit of a change, and yeah, I can't wait until we start the next season.
And how about you, Karen?
Later today, right?
Yes, I will be
Um,
doing this later today.
yeah, I mentioned we had grilled cheese sandwiches last week. This week, what was it we had? It was something messy. I can't remember. But I know that's irrelevant, but I thought I'd fill everyone in that we have our date night. That's one of my New Year's resolutions to have these date nights. Yeah, so there's so many things in this episode. It's going to be difficult to catch everything, I think, in our discussion. Some heartbreak, some tension, and then another cliffhanger. I am glad that we don't have to wait for a new season. We could just go on to the next episode.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut to we've got Joe and Holden, Miller and Holden, or Joe and Jim, J and J. Unlike me, that said, I had said that they really didn't get radiation poisoning, that the light was something else. It appears so far I am dead wrong because they are taking medicine, they are throwing up, they are getting sick. And I'll be a little candid with you two. Hi, Candy. That I wanted that resolved before the episode. And from my perspective, it wasn't. Did I miss something?
No, they were being cured on the Rossi.
How are they being cured?
I don't know. Some
Lou, am
future
I
technology.
They were being treated.
Okay.
okay? Okay. Is there a that is there a device I missed that's cleaning the blood or something?
Yeah, they
Well,
Or
put
they're
like
just getting
a,
through?
they were hooked into the sick bay, uh,
yeah,
Okay.
the
Okay.
med bay equipment. Yes.
like when Alex wanted to get the stims into his
Hmm.
back and they would just shoot into his back. They
Yeah.
had an armband thing on. It looked
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
a blood pressure cuff.
Good
I'm
boy.
assuming that was
Yep.
what was
And
distributing the drugs.
Yep.
in our flashback with Julie, they made a comment about being on that adrenaline, didn't they? Is that something I missed, or it seemed like they were talking about to the driver, the pilot, about you were getting overly, they made a point about the steroids or whatever he was getting, the adrenaline. Did,
They've talked about it several times this season
okay.
about using stims to stay awake.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused about that. Go ahead.
Just generally, they have to use stims when they go to high G
Okay.
because the show is trying to be as realistic as possible. So when they accelerate, the ship goes under multiple Gs. So the chemicals that the stimulants that they take help them stop them from losing consciousness. So
The
Okay.
that's
pilot,
the
right?
the whole crew.
Okay.
Like everybody has to take them, especially when they make real deep burns. And you'll see that more in the series going forward. And without those stimulants, people would die.
Okay.
So that's an ongoing thing. And with what's going on with the radiation treatment, there's not a cure. They're just getting but there are treatments to keep it
Okay.
at bay. So this will be an ongoing thing, but it's kind
Is
of
Interesting.
it's ignored going forward.
is it
Okay.
similar to HIV and AIDS, where we've now reached the point where we have medicine that even if you're HIV positive with this cocktail, it keeps it manageable.
Right,
Yeah.
but it doesn't cure
Okay.
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I
Interesting.
have insulin and a insulin pump for my diabetes, but I'll always be a diabetic.
exactly. Yeah, there'll
Okay,
always
got it.
be radiation victims.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Interesting.
seems like that would come up where they're going to be in a place where there's more radiation than normal. Like a normal person would be very much, but I don't see them doing x-rays when they go to the dentist, right? No, we're already so saturated, I can't
yeah,
take any more.
yeah.
All right, probably focused on the wrong story. All right.
No,
That's interesting.
it's a good question
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
because
Uh,
naturally radiation to us is like a big deal, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
So
basically a death sentence
if
for us.
you don't talk about UN, and we will in a minute, but the story is two different groups trying to get to the ship,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And I thought the two different stories were made it for very interesting, very suspenseful. So let's talk our JJs, Holden Miller. Theirs was more, I it I more violent, let's say. So Lou, let's start with you here. Let's talk about that going through and highlights or things that really meant a lot to you for that story that you thought was interesting, or because you are our resident expert, that should be important.
I think the main takeaway from those scenes is that while Holden is still an idealist, he's starting to see maybe through Miller's lenses that sometimes you have to make tough choices or you have to be harder, even if it's not something that you totally agree with. So there's that big scene between Holden and Knox where Knox is trying to bargain his way onto the Rocinante, but Holden stands his ground, doesn't outright kill him.
That's Kenzo, right?
Yeah, Kenzo. Yeah. So that's the mercy aspect of Holden that's still there, but he's not letting him on the ship. Whereas maybe before he would have allowed Knox to come on Rocinante with them and get off of Tycho. I think that they visually put a nice punctuation point on it when Miller was seen at the end of the scene and giving his approval of the way Holden handled that situation. So I think that's the big takeaway for me from all those sequences. And just in general, they're both pretty sick. Miller seems to be more susceptible, or he got a bigger dose of radiation because he's experiencing distress signals more than Holden seems to be. So that was interesting as well. The other thing is that Holden or Miller is still seeing Julie at certain points, which is
Yes.
also interesting. So those were the main takeaways for me from those sequences.
Yeah, I was also going to
Go ahead.
mention the Holden thing with him realizing that less he needs to have less pathos. That was a big thing for me, is seeing that Kenzo says, "You're a good guy." And Holden is, "Tell me how I'm a good guy, because you don't know. You're just saying that."
Yeah.
And, it's true. He was just saying you're a good guy. He had no idea whether Holden was a good guy or not. And I feel like at that point was a turning point for him where other people are going to be ruthless trying to get to me. So I'm going to have to be ruthless as well. And he takes that from Miller, where Miller looks at him several times and, "Look, you got to do these things." You can see it in his eyes where he's killing someone. He breaks someone's neck, right? And he
Hmm.
looks over at Holden, "Look, you got to do this because that's the only way we're getting out of this." And I like that aspect of it because I do think that Holden is a bit He wears his heart on his sleeve a little too much, and he needs to hold things back and to be a little more cutthroat if he's going to get through this because he's not protected by anything. They are renegades. So he has to harden a little bit. And I think this might be the start of that. I do think that Miller is more susceptible to the radiation. And this actually did go through my mind because he was born on Ceres and he never left Ceres. I'm assuming they don't have radiation there. So there's no conditioning. Whereas Holden is brought up on Earth where there's radiation in the air and on Earth because of all the things that we do. And our bodies take a lot of that on already. And we've I don't think we build up like a complete tolerance to it, obviously, but I do think that our body is more used to it, where Holden maybe could adapt to the symptoms a little better. At least that's what went through my mind, because it did look like Joe was really feeling the effects much more than Holden was. He actually took the medicine more times and he was hallucinating. And I think it's weird that he's seeing Julie because he never saw Julie talk, right? He saw her like on monitors and stuff talking, but he didn't see her like moving. And so I'm guessing he's extrapolating that, but it's weird, right? And I thought it was heartbreaking that he went through so much in this episode. I do think that he is a tortured soul. His whole life was spent on Ceres, and I'm assuming that he had some influences on him that told him things here are bad and Earth is good. And so that whole conversation between him and Holden, where he's like, "Why did you leave Earth?" And Holden says to him, "Everything I loved was dying." And I think at that moment, Joe's maybe it wasn't quite as idyllic as I think, but he's still really envious, I think, and holds a bit of a grudge against people that leave Earth. So there was a lot of stuff that happened in that storyline. Also, hearing that maybe he and Amos have stuff in common where he was brought up in a pachinko parlor, he was a street rat, and we know Amos was brought up
In a
uh,
brothel.
right in a brothel. So I think they both lived parallel lives, and seeing where they ended up is weird. One of them ended up a cop and the other one ended up a security officer. So they both went into law enforcement, but one was on the down and dirty. Amos was, he wasn't a cop. He was lived on a ship where I'm guessing the rules were bent a lot. And Joe bent the rules, but lived in an environment that didn't encourage you to do. I'm assuming they have a lot in common, but we know that's not going to happen because Amos shot Semi. So where's that going to go? Anyway, there was a lot of stuff going on there. I think when you said it's a dense series, that's a good example where a lot of that was communicated through looks between Holden
Hmm.
and Miller and just little bits of story put in there. There's already action going on, and during the action, Joe is talking about being brought up in a pachinko parlor. So it's not him standing there giving a soliloquy, it's them acting and talking at the same time. So they pack a lot of stuff in. I love that.
So what I this is a totally different take. I actually thought that because Miller was raised in a station that he had more exposure to radiation
Oh, like
because
from planets and
yeah,
yeah.
from everything and the like the nuclear source or whatever it was, and while Earth there is not as much of deadly radiation. So I was exactly the same
The
thought,
opposite.
except different reasons
So
why.
he's
So
already got enough
enough,
radiation that it would affect
yeah,
him more.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
same
they both
reason.
make sense, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, the same reason like a dental hygienist always leaves the room when you go to get x-rays just to limit their exposure. What do you think about Holden having to kill that guy? It seemed to really bother him, and Buddy was had to do that. I thought that was a really interesting scene, and I'll stick with you, Karen.
Yeah, he does take a bit of a pause afterwards to
Yeah.
acknowledge what he's done. But
Mhm.
I do think that he knows it was justified, that it was either him or the guy. It was either Holden or the other guy. In those cases, you have to justify it to yourself in order to live with it. And I
Mhm.
think that's what he's going to do. And also, I do think it's hardening his shell a little bit, which I'm not advocating murder. Okay, I want to go on
Yeah.
record in saying that.
Wow,
But
that's a controversial
I
thing.
know,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Don't cancel me for saying it. But I do think in a show like this, with a group, a band of people that are like on the down low, that are
Mhm.
avoiding capture at all turns, he's gonna have to harden himself and he's gonna have
Mhm.
to be able to make those decisions. It's a trope to say your first
Mhm.
kill's the hardest, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I do think that the show does take that moment for him to take a beat and
Mhm.
acknowledge what he's done and say, okay, I can't go back. I've killed someone now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was poignant to see him take that moment on and then move.
Sure. Lou?
Yeah, I think all those deaths were the build up to that showdown with Knox, so that by the time if they had jumped to that scene without those intervening deaths, then people might go, I don't really think that Holden would have did what he did to Knox. He probably would have let him come with him, but because of what happened with those other deaths, that he was at that point where he realized that, okay, I have to take a stand here that I don't like, but is necessary under the situation.
Mhm.
So, you think Holden, I'm thinking when they were in the lobby of that flop house, that Holden took some of the guilt on for the innocent people that got killed there, like the guy behind the counter and all that. Do you think maybe he blames himself a little bit for that?
He probably would, yeah.
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 So he's also blaming Kenzo for that too, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the biggest probably the clearest moment was when Miller shot those two security guys just to get their uniforms, right?
Yep.
That's when he had to struggle the most with it. He said, I don't like this, but this is necessary.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I like that there's a payoff for those deaths. They're just not pointless as they usually are in so many other shows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. There is an acknowledgement
Yeah.
of what
Mhm.
happened.
Do I do love this. Holden has had a really interesting character journey from being responsible for a lot of this chaos that's happened, him being raised the way he was. I think he's a really interesting guy to follow.
Yeah, we've
And I,
learned about his whole life arc this
yeah,
season because we learned about his upbringing and now
yeah,
we've seen him up to the present. And it's really cool that we got all of that in just 10 episodes.
yeah. So let's flip around. The other side is trying to go. They're going through the tunnels. Naomi seems to, we know a little bit more about secret tunnels. I almost think of this as the Underground Railroad. Everyone kind of knows where this is to get them to the shipyard. I don't know. I watched this a couple times and I missed how the adult with the child ended up with them. Can either one of you, did I miss that somehow?
Yeah, he
That
was
was
just down there and he said, let me come with you.
yeah, just
Okay.
coincidence, just luck,
Okay.
happenstance. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Any thoughts about their journey before they get to the ship?
I think that it's showing that Naomi is understanding, maybe a little more empathetic with Holden's decisions now, or the fact that he's taken the lead and she's been fighting him for it, but now with everybody pressing her, especially, probably going to say his name wrong, Sembatata, friend of,
Semi.
yeah, Semi, the friend of Miller. They're all questioning her ability, and she's under a lot of pressure, and at the same time, she's dealing with the knowledge that everybody on this station is probably going to die. And that little girl was like the placeholder for everybody on the station. And she was trying her best to save as many people as she could. But then in the end, even though she was trying to do the right thing, circumstances took that child out of her hands. She ran into a relative, and that relative didn't want to leave the station. They wanted to get to the hospital, but that was a death sentence for them, and it was heartbreaking. It was I don't want to marginalize the experience, but it must have been the same thing when World War II, when Jews saw their families being ripped apart and kids taken in one direction and parents in another and so forth. So that and there's that kind of that underground railroad vibe too that you're getting with that. I thought that was all well played out, and it just I think it was just gave some good character beats between all the characters between Amos and Kaz and Semi. And I don't know, are we going all the way till they got onto the ship or just till they got to the ship?
Till we get to the ship. Let's
Okay.
talk about that.
So that was heartbreaking to see all that stuff with the little girl, and I can't really say much more about that, but it was good that they showed that moment with Naomi and the girl. I thought that was really well done.
It
Yeah,
is. Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Karen.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, Naomi is saying there's nothing safe on this station. You have to come with us. And realistically, the relative is no, we're going to go to the hospital. We're going to go where it's safe because no one could imagine that a whole station would be this evil scientist using them as a lab. And my heart broke a little bit with Naomi going, no, and you're thinking this is a death trap for them picking this wrong decision. So that's all I was bringing up. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, I think the little girl represents the innocents that were killed, right?
Yeah,
That we use little children a lot to represent that
yeah,
kind of as an analog and a shortcut. And the scruffy guy, I thought for sure he was going to betray them. It just turns out that he's an idiot. He goes with them, right? We
hmm
see that he is not one of the people that gets saved. There was a passing remark, but there are some people she managed to save. I think that's going to make her feel better in the short run, at least. And I love the little line at the end where she says to Holden, being in charge sucks.
yeah,
She definitely understands that dynamic that she hated that whole leading the way thing. We do confirm that she was part of the OPA. That's a solidification of that.
yes,
And I loved how they, again, show not tell with the map on the wall. And she just
hmm
says, okay, this is how we got through. And we see that and we also see that it wasn't easy. They had to knock down walls and stuff to get through. And I'm assuming it's like our Underground Railroad where it wasn't a static network because
hmm
things were being changed all through that period of freeing slaves in America. And I think it looked like that as soon as a route was mapped out, it's like the next time they went to take it, there might have been somebody shored up because they realized people were being trafficked through there. So it looked very perilous, very difficult. I had liked Semi up until this point, but he was really irritating. This was their only way out. And for
hmm
him to be like, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, if you think that, then go off and try to find your own way. Let them make their own mistakes. But it turned out that they were right. And he never said anything about that. He never said, hey, thanks for getting us through that. He's just belligerent the entire way through. And he tries to take over on the ship, and it's not his place. I'm not sure that getting killed was the right thing to do, but he definitely needed to sit down and shut up. Yeah, it was.
Maybe he was just scared.
Yeah, exactly. You never know anyone's motivations, and I think Amos does take things a little too far.
Wow,
Um,
that might be the understatement of the
right,
year.
right.
Yeah,
He follows Naomi to the ends of the earth, and sometimes that's detrimental.
gotcha, boss. Right?
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
yeah,
You said we
yeah,
wait.
Were you
yeah.
faked out though at first? Looked like he was agreeing with Semi.
Yes, very much.
That was really
I
well
was
played.
I was
It was
like,
really well played.
no wonder I hate this guy. And then he comes back and shoots Semi, and I'm like, no wonder I hate this guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't love that he killed somebody, but I did think it was really interesting just the way that happened of just this guy is on and on. We got to go. And she's, no, I promised we're going to wait for Holden. And when it's his friend is there too, which is a little surprising. But no, he is. But I do, Amos does seem to have a,
Code.
He's got a itchy trigger finger. That's
well,
one thing.
very at times black or white, right?
Very,
This
very much.
is,
Yes.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
against us, you're against us, and I'm
yeah,
not putting up with that. Yeah,
yeah.
and we've seen that several times through this
Hmm.
season, him going off, and
Yeah.
Holden wasn't there
Hmm.
to be the moderator.
Yeah, good.
And Naomi was very upset by that. Very upset by that.
Yes, it was. I did. Let's get to that where Holden's, you have blood on your face.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it's not mine.
yeah, that was good. Any
Yeah.
thoughts on that? The surprise, Lou, and then once we are all back there.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I thought that was really well executed
Yeah, I do
because
too.
it looked like Amos was agreeing with Semi, and then that
I see
shot,
what you did there, executed.
yeah. And then when Holden gets back on the ship, Naomi, as you said, says being in command sucks. So I think that's again showing that she's acquiescing to him being in lead. She's had her shot at it. She doesn't like it, and she
Yeah,
acknowledges that he's doing the best that he can. So that played pretty well, and it was funny because Holden was floaty because he was of the meds and that. It reminds me if you've ever seen those YouTube videos where they show people that go to the dentist or wake up from anesthesia. Oh, you're so pretty. Would you
Yep.
be my boyfriend? I am your
Hmm.
boyfriend. Oh my God, I'm so
Oh,
yeah,
lucky.
thank
So,
goodness. Yeah.
so I was playing on that vibe a little bit. And yeah, it's just of course, and there's the beat that don't forget the beat between Miller and Amos. Was that Semi down there? And then Amos says, "Yeah, I shot him." I was like, okay.
That's not going to be great.
Yeah.
yeah. You do wonder how that's going to go, right? Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
There could be some tension. Now we do have everyone on the ship.
Yep.
And it was interesting. How did you guys get a warship? Salvage, salvage.
Yeah.
Move along, move
Legal, he
along.
says legal salvage.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah,
Nothing to
And
see
it
legal
here.
salvage. Yeah.
technically it was legal salvage. Technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the image of the Rocinante breaking free of the disguise, I think was a
Mhm.
nice visual as well.
Yeah, that was great. I thought
Yeah.
that was something I wasn't expecting,
Yeah.
but a brilliant idea to get out of there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they don't need it anymore, right?
No.
Mhm.
They're on the run already. They don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else before we move to Earth?
We should talk about what happened to Kenzo.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So, because
Wow.
that was like, I think that was the last scene of the episode, was it not? Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was where
Yeah.
Kenzo gets sucked into
Yeah. Go
the
ahead, Karen.
whatever it is. The
Yeah, go
big
ahead, Karen.
Yeah, I thought that was funny at one way, but also
Creepy.
we yeah. That's the cliffhanger, right?
Mm.
We don't know what that thing is still, but that weird creepy guy who's working for Mao,
Yeah.
he engineered that, right? He engineered that thing growing on Eros.
Hmm.
So that I'm assuming that's going to be a running story, at least in the next season, is
Hmm.
finding out what this thing is and why they're doing it. I
Yeah.
had, go ahead.
No, yeah, they keep saying this is going to save us, right?
Yeah,
I'm really curious about that.
yeah. He's, like we mentioned last week, he thinks it's going to make people better. Like
Hmm.
it's gonna give them superhuman powers or something. And really all we've seen is that it kills people. But they are testing ways, maybe ways that it can be augmented, ways that it can be activated with the radiation.
Hmm.
I'm just assuming that's the goal is they need to test it on something. And so they've decided that the people on Eros are their guinea pigs. At least that's what I'm taking from this. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I love the visuals of it because initially Kenzo was in awe of it, and there's like this all this sparkly fairy dust kind of stuff going on, and then he sees this shape takes form, and it looks like a person, and so he's totally entranced by it, and then this like thing comes out of the ceiling or from above and grabs him and pulls him up. It moves from the sense of awe to the sense of terror really quickly. I thought that was really well done. The other
So
thing I would,
can I
go ahead.
ask you a question?
Sure.
Because you mentioned that it takes the form of a person. Is it trying to figure out how to assimilate in society, like how to become that shape? And
Well,
is that a
I
right track or is that a different?
I would think it I would think of it as more of a method of trapping something
Okay,
by imitating it
okay.
in that sense.
Like fooling things
Yeah.
into,
The
okay.
other thing that point that I want to make tying into why Miller was thinking of Julie at times is remember that in the I think it was this episode they had that scene where her body in the wash the shower they had these two I assume they were lasers or maybe they were radiation guns and they were zapping her with it to accelerate the growth of the protomolecule. So at the core of this organism is it's coming out of Julie. So that's something to bear in mind.
Okay,
Wow.
okay,
And
cool.
maybe that's how it knew how to try to create a human form. That I'm just speculating on. I don't have any insight on that, but
And the people from the scopuli also, right? That it had
yeah.
all those people too.
But
So maybe
that
it's,
was a different organism, all right? That one was destroyed.
oh, that's right.
Yeah,
This one grew from
Julie.
just a couple of cells or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
The
think that's it.
Yeah, it is this creepy guy, right? Who is another one of the, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's been in a million things too.
Yeah. The idea of do you have kids? And the not that I know of, which is such
Hmm.
an asshole answer.
Yeah.
Always, anytime someone says that. And the just the callousness of dealing and like she had everything and she just didn't care about it. And so he has no sorrow for her death whatsoever.
Right. He's
And
on the wrong side of the fence though, right? And she
yeah,
did care about things.
yeah.
It's just, it was not the things he
I'm
cared
sorry.
about.
I mean, you say he and she. Who do you mean?
Dresden and Julie. Dresden, the guy who's taking samples from her, says
Oh,
something about
okay,
she had everything, and
okay.
Yeah,
he is super creepy.
yeah, looking to see he had a small part in one of the better non-Hallmark Christmas movies, Joy to the World this year. I'm looking at other things he's done. It is truly
He's a
someone,
character actor in a
yeah.
million things.
And so did two episodes on Discovery. And so, yeah, there's, it is one of those things where I can't find any one role that I go, oh yeah, that guy was in Orphan
Yeah,
Black,
he's
5 episodes.
so many
Uh,
people from Orphan Black are on this show.
yeah. So it even did an episode of 12 Monkeys.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I am curious where we're going with this and what this is mean. I am feeling better because you did tell us last week, Lou, that this is not going to be this doesn't become a we're fighting a virus series.
No.
So I'm glad this is feels because I don't enjoy the storyline so far. It is, and maybe just because a government or a corporation not caring about people just hits a little too close home.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all loved Lost, and we get Christian meeting Mr. Mao, right?
Yep.
Julie's father.
Dun,
Dr.
dun,
Chang.
dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
Dr. Chang.
dun.
Yeah,
He was
so
also before he appeared on the show Lost, he was part of the ARG, the game, the
hmm,
online game that tied into the show. And he was
hmm,
like a creepy part of that game where we saw film strip images of him
hmm,
working for the Dharma Initiative and stuff. So
hmm.
he is ingrained in my head
Yeah.
as one of those guys as well.
He played a nice villain in The Penguin, the HBO series that was so good. So yeah, let's talk about, and Lou, have you take lead. Talk about our scenes in the United Nations and also her on the roof talking to her husband.
I think this is where the series does one of its first major shifts in that a lot of things that we've been presupposing about what's going on at the UN kind of are flipped on their head. I'm curious to see if you both agree with me on that. So I'm reluctant to say my part first until I hear from you
Okay,
two
go
guys.
ahead,
So
Karen. Let's do that.
Okay, so what did
Just
you
the discussions they're all having in the United Nations,
Okay.
her discussion with her husband,
Okay.
her playing her, I'm still upset about my friend's death. No, you're
Hmm.
not.
Right.
BS.
Right.
Yeah,
I
go.
think she is. I think she is. And I think she always was upset by it, but she's suppressing that because there is an overriding mission in her head. However, I do think that she realizes that Aaron Wright had him killed. And now she's more upset because he died for no reason. And so she still has that overriding goal, but somewhere in her head, I've got to avenge this. I've got to figure out what's going on and tamp it down. Why does Aaron Wright want this war? And she realizes that when Aaron Wright comes and oh, we've got this taken care of. Don't worry about it. You'll hear more about it in the briefing. She realizes there's more to this than she thought. And if she plays into her own thoughts and voices them, she's going to be on the chopping block. She's going to be the next one killed. And so she plays into that. And it's shown very clearly when Aaron Wright says, I like this side of you, because that means that she's convinced him she's on board with whatever he's doing. And she's not obviously on board. The conversation she has with her husband on the roof to take the little ones, quote unquote, to, I'm assuming the moon, whatever their moon base is, and he tries to convince her to come with them, but she says, no, if I go, then he'll realize something is up. So I have to stay here, stay on course, figure out what's going on, and do what I can to right the wrongs that have been done. We're starting to see that when she realizes things are not what they seem, she is becoming more sympathetic to the forces that she would normally, like the OPA, realizes that they've been put in the middle of something that was not their doing at this point. I think not that she's softening towards them, but that she realizes this isn't the fault of Earth or Mars or Ceres. This is the fault of our government. So I got to work from within. And seeing that conversation between her and Aaron Wright and then seeing Mal come up and talk to them, I think she is going to be right in the middle of all this. And it'll be interesting to see. I'm assuming the good guys are going to win, and she's the good guy in this case. So I'm hoping to see how she tunnels out of that, if that makes sense.
Okay. I I just still have not thought I think in theory she's sad her friend died, but I think in her mind, and I keep saying this, right? You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. In her mind, it's on him. Just because I screwed your life and destroyed everything, and you still are a coward for killing yourself. And
But he didn't. She knows he didn't kill himself. She says at the end that she knows that he was murdered.
okay, I missed that.
Okay, yeah. He was murdered by Aaron Wright. And she says to her husband that she knows he's been murdered. And so she has to work on whatever's happening. So she knows that.
And is that just her opinion, or is that the truth?
I don't know yet,
Lou,
but
is that,
That's her evaluation.
but
okay.
it is too soon to tell us whether that's true or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But that's her conclusion at the end is that he was not a coward. He didn't kill himself. He was murdered.
But
Eh,
So,
let me add, we've seen so far that she's been a very good judge of character.
okay.
Bear that in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was actually thinking that this is almost in her mind so she could justify this, what she did is
Hmm.
she's going to blame somebody else.
Possible. But
Hmm.
again, I'll just repeat what I said. She's a very good
Yeah,
judge of people.
Okay.
I like that. I'll have to rewatch the episode and see that.
Yeah, just rewatch those scenes, the UN scenes. You don't
Okay.
have to watch the other stuff. But yeah, just
Yeah.
Okay.
skip to those scenes. I think
There's a
it's
lot of implication
yeah,
in this.
it's pretty dense. It definitely bears rewatching. But the whole scene with when she's talking to is it Southern, I guess at first, or Souther about Admiral Souther about these ships.
Oh,
And then Aaron Wright shows up and says, no, they were built on Earth and those fusion drives, but they were built for a private contractor. And then Mao shows up, and it's kind of done. It like one thing leads to another. Because of that, the way that meeting played out, that is what's cued Christian into the fact that there's more that
Okay.
going on here on the surface than meets the eye.
I am going to be interested. I love the actress, but
Hmm.
I
me
do not
too.
like the character. And so I'm looking forward to the journey to see if they're going to change things around where I actually may become a fan of hers. We'll see. You know, it's early in the series.
I'm
Hmm.
always a fan of hers. I can be a fan of bad guys too.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Ursula is one of my favorite
Hmm.
characters from
Yeah.
Disney films.
I did read that this is the name of the first book this is based on.
Yes.
Do Have you read the books, Lou? I can't remember if you said yes or no.
I've read the first one. My problem with the books is that there's much more politicking going on in them
Okay.
than the series does a really great job of condensing that out. And I'm just not, I, there's a balance there. Like all the great science fiction novels or stories have politics in them to a certain degree. Dune definitely does. I'm thinking of the Hyperion series that Dan Simmons wrote. There's the Roman Catholic Church plays a really big part in that series, and all the politics that go along with that. But I just found it a little plodding in the book, so I never really got past the first one. I think I tried to read the second one, and then I just got bogged down, and I'm just said, this is too much politics for
Okay.
me. I want
How
more science fiction, less maneuvering.
how close is the first season to the first book? Does it do the seasons match with the seasons, or is it
There's there's Well, there's a large overlap in this season with the first
Hmm.
book. Some things have been rejiggered and certain characters have been compressed into one, which is often happens with TV series because it's just you can't carry that many cast members
Sure.
or it just becomes like people popping in. It's dense enough as it is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's been some condensing, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay. Good. All right.
So when she starts out and she's having the conversation with Souther about that what she found and that the ships were built on Earth and Earth shipyards and all that, immediately Aaron Wright comes up and says, "Oh yeah, no, don't worry about that. They weren't built by us. They were built by subcontractors." He's doing that don't look at this hand, look at this hand thing, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, no, he said they were built by us, but not for the army. They were built for a private contractor.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is definitely giving them the company line, right?
And he's also leading them to the path of Fred Johnson is the one to blame because he said
Right,
all those ships made their way to Tycho Station,
right.
which is that true or not? We don't know at this point.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I am not sure yet where this is going.
Yeah,
Um,
because the other thing to remember is Aaron Wright reintroduces Christian to his security advisor, which is a private contractor, and that's Jules Pierre Mao.
mhm.
Right.
So the circle kind of is closed.
He owns the security company, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
So definitely rewatch those UN scenes. They're very
okay, I will.
dense and very important.
Okay, good.
And turn on the subtitles. It'll help.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what else do we need to cover?
I do want to mention that it was very satisfying when Joe killed that thug
Mm,
because he was the guy that hurt his partner, Lock or whatever.
yeah.
He was the guy that impaled his partner, the bald guy,
Mhm.
that he says, "Come on into the elevator." And then when he gets close, he shoots him and
Is that the
kills him.
same
And
guy?
yeah,
Oh, okay. So
it was the same guy.
I never noticed that. Okay,
Where
cool.
he says he had it coming. I love that.
So how
And
did
of
the guy
course,
get on Eros from
they hired
series?
all the thugs from series. They set
Okay.
that up that
Yeah.
they
Okay. Well,
hired
that's a
thugs
good
from
catch,
all
Karen. I
over the
never made that
place.
connection.
I read it.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
I was
catch it.
wondering
I
why
read
I
it.
was wondering why he did that, but
Oh yeah, it's the dude that impaled his partner,
oh, okay.
the partner that we've never seen again, and I'm assuming we won't.
Yeah.
But
Phoenix
yeah, it
or
says
Magnum,
Kothari,
Yeah, Magnum. Yeah.
the
the
new
guy
Magnum.
who impaled Miller's partner, Havelock.
Oh,
Mm,
okay. Wow. Cool.
So
I
I
did
never
not
knew
yeah,
catch
that.
that either. Good.
and I love how he started that riot. It was
Hmm.
great to see him like, we can't take
Professional.
it anymore. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was great.
I can't ask Lou this, but I want to ask Karen, where do you think season two goes?
Okay, this has set up something, and I am stymied as to where it's going to go. I can see the plot lines. We have the UN and Christian looking into what has really gone on. Is she going to help exonerate Fred Johnson? Is she going to bring all these things to light? Is she going to be like the new Holden, where Holden, like, hey, they blew up the Kent and he got that message out? Is she going to do something to make it clear to the population that people are doing bad things? So there's that. And then we have that molecule that's definitely going to play a big part, I'm assuming, in the coming episodes. And what are they doing? Why are they doing it? What does that mean? Why is a security company interested in it? It looks like they created it. So are they really a scientific company that is disguised as the security company? I want to know more about that. And then we have the Rossi, which seems to be like an ever-changing revolving door of people that come in and out of it. Are they gonna be like a haven for people that escape? Are any of those people are we ever gonna see any of those people again that they brought on board? And Lou, you've told us that they're not cured, Holden and Miller,
Right.
they're not cured. So there's that. And you say they do drop that at some point, but how is that gonna resolve? And I'm assuming we'll get a lot of those threads brought back up in the next episode, but I don't know how. I don't know where they're headed. And it's exciting to have that where you don't see things coming down Main Street.
Yeah, I am not sure where this thing is going at all. I'm enjoying the storylines. I do feel like that there is, are we how are we trying to start a war or stopping a war? It's just, this is a show that I really enjoy reading, and I'm going to watching it as if it was a novel and not sure where the novel is going yet. And I think I'm glad to know that I think they ended up telling the story they wanted to tell. I'm sure there were other stories they could tell because of the series, but this isn't like we ended with Peripheral. Was that the one that yeah,
It
that
ended on
just,
a cliffhanger and
yeah,
got canceled. Yeah.
yeah,
That was because of the writer's strike, and we didn't
yeah,
have any of that in this.
yeah,
So,
that's good. Good.
and
Yeah,
man, they're not afraid to kill off characters. Semi, he wasn't like a main character or anything, but I assumed we'd still see
yeah,
him.
I thought, okay, we're getting this. They're like, okay, we've only got so many seats. It's musical chairs. Like, we only have so
Right.
many seats, so we got to, oh, you really like this character? Nope, we got to get rid of him.
Yeah,
So that's good.
exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna gird my loins for that.
yeah, exactly. All right. Any final thoughts?
No,
That was that
I
was
think that
mine.
you guys are asking the right questions, and
Good.
the next season will be an interesting one to watch both of your reactions to it. And
Okay.
as I said earlier, new characters get introduced, and I have in my mind which new characters I think Jesse's gonna the best and which ones Karen's gonna the best. And I will make those proclamations when those characters show up, and then we'll see how
Okay.
if you still feel the same way at the end of the series.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Okay.
And
That's a little extra fun for there.
you
Good.
say I'm gonna like Amos more, and yet
I like Amos.
I don't
You know,
hate him. I'm
yeah.
just saying he's got an itchy trigger finger.
It reminds me of the scene in Firefly where Malcolm's talking to the guy, like, okay, we know this was happening, everything, and the guy, like, oh, I'm gonna take care of you. Malcolm just throws him into the jet thing.
Yeah.
It is there,
Not worth my time, so
yeah. There, I like the, because sometimes I will watch a spy show and they don't kill someone when they subdue them. And you're like, but then the others are like, yeah, of course. I have my mission and I'm going to do this. Yeah.
you're right. And you're a better door than a window, isn't that the saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're in my way, so I gotta get you
Yeah.
out of the way. The death toll in this episode was huge,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that is something interesting about it. They
Hmm.
exterminated hundreds of thousands of people on Eros. Amos took out his fair share of people. Miller
Hmm.
and Holden took out quite a few people.
Yeah.
So many people, the casualty number was pretty high for this
Yeah.
episode. And
Yeah.
yet I'm not completely upset by it, which is sad, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Very sad.
I've
Yeah.
got I got a question for you too.
Do the Cowboys suck or what? Oh, I'm sorry.
Does that really need to be answered?
the 49ers suck
What
too.
are your
So
favorite two characters so far and your least two favorite characters? Uh,
Hmm.
Jesse or Karen, who wants to go first?
I love Christian.
Oh, okay.
I
Interesting.
do. I like her as a character. And I like Alex a lot, even though he seems to have a quip ready on the go. The pilot,
Oh, Kaz. Oh, yeah, that's
Alex.
Alex. Alex, yes.
Yeah,
Kaz is his real name. Sorry.
you're right. And I like Joe too.
Okay.
There's a Holden is an easy person to say, but he's so wishy-washy right now. I
Mm.
really need to see him make a fist. So,
Okay. Said, who are your least two favorite?
God, I'm gonna say Amos right now. Aaron Wright
Okay.
and the Jules Pierre Mao. I don't like the sneaky sneaks.
Okay.
And I'm unsettled by Amos, I think.
All right.
Naomi's up there for who I like too.
Okay.
So I Amos for just his black and white. It is, I just think it's a interesting dynamic of his loyalty to Naomi and his simple, almost, oh, okay, let's Gordian knot, take the sword and just cut through the issue. So I like that about him. And Holden, I think Holden is a wonderful character, and I think it's going to be good.
All right.
I don't like Christian. I like watching her, but I do not like Christian.
Okay.
I think she, so far, from my perspective, she is so focused on her goals that she doesn't care about the wake that she leaves in her, the chaos she leaves in her wake, versus Amos just very just matter of fact, I am what I am. He doesn't try to pretend anything else. Christian, on the other hand, seems to be this image of someone caring and loving, but actually just ruthless as hell. And then, of course, the evil scientist that I don't know how big of a character it's going to be, but for
Mal,
now,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Are
for
you talking
now,
about Mal? Yeah.
yeah, where taking the things and how Julie was in thing, it's just easy to dislike him. I did not like Miller at first, but he's grown on me. Yeah,
All right. It'll be interesting to revisit your choices at the end of next season.
yeah,
All right.
yep.
That's it. That's all I got.
I
Okay.
like his Han Solo-ness.
Hmm.
He's a little on the Han Solo side, Miller.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
Holden needs to be more like that.
yeah. All right, good. If there's nothing else, I think we'll wrap it up. It's been another fun discussion.
You can find me at this YouTube channel, JKL Media Reviews, where we are currently doing that. Obviously, The Expanse. We just finished the first season of Pluribus, and our season wrap-up episode just went up. So check that out. We had a guest on, and that was great. Who was the guest again, Jesse?
Daniel from Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Right. So that was a fun episode. So check that out on my home YouTube channel, Lose Reviews. You can find my writer interviews episodes as well as my Stephen King podcast episodes and our full complete Babylon 5 series review, including the animated movie. And on Twitter and Blue Sky, you can find me at Lou W. Sitzma, Sytsma.
I am at Jesse Jackson DFW on Twitter, X. You can hear me talking Doctor Who on Next Stop Everywhere, John Hyatt on Perfectly Good Podcast, and music on Set Lusting Bruce. Karen is at Elevaria on social medias and on her blog, where she talks about all the books she's reading. Curious to see if she's going to hit her reading goal in 2026. We will be back next week to talk about this episode. Would love to get some feedback. We don't get very many, so please let us know and discuss what we'd like, what else we could discover as we're going through Expanse.
Yep.
So thank you, Karen. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, listeners. Be safe, be kind, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. And see.
The proceeding has been a JKL Media production.